Hello and welcome to Cloud Solutions Tech. Today's video, I have an exciting project lined up for you. I'm going to show you how to deploy a Super Mario game on Kubernetes cluster using Terraform. Many of us grew up playing the Super Mario game. And to make things more interesting, I'll be leveraging AWS EC2, IAM Roles, AWS CLI, AWS EKS, and GitHub. This comprehensive project will demonstrate how to automate deployment and manage infrastructure as a code using these powerful tools. Whether you are a DevOps engineer, a cloud enthusiast, or just someone looking to enhance your automation skills, this video is for you. I will break down each step from setting up our AWS environment to writing Terraform configuration and finally automating the deployment process with GitHub. By the end of this tutorial, you will have a fully operational Super Mario game running on a Kubernetes cluster, managed entirely by code. Before we dive in, make sure you have an AWS account ready. You will also need a GitHub account to store and manage our Terraform code. If you haven't done this yet, pause the video and set up this first. All right, let's jump right in. So to complete this project, I've made all the code available in our GitHub account. So here's our GitHub repository. So we'll just follow this instruction one after the other. So prerequisite, you need an AWS account. I have my AWS account ready. If you don't have an AWS account, make sure you create one. You need to configure Terraform inside the EC2 instance that we're going to use. And then we need to create IAM role for that EC2 instance. So let's get after it. I'm already in my AWS account. So we need an EC2 instance that we will use. So for the EC2, I'm going to be using Ubuntu. I'm going to be using Ubuntu. I'll just call it Super Mario. All right. I'm doing the Ubuntu. The key. I'm go with this key. And then just go ahead and launch my project. All right, we have our EC2 ready. So let's log in into that EC2. We are using Ubuntu, loaded Ubuntu. So for that, we are going to be connecting to the Ubuntu user. All right, let me go to my terminal. Make sure you copy the public IP. So we want to log into that instance remotely. So Ubuntu as the IP. Yes. All right. We are here. Okay. So for this project, like I said, we are going to be making use of this documentation that I've put here in our GitHub repository. So I've logged into my AWS account. I've launched my EC2. My EC2 is ready. I've connected into the machine. So now we want to run this command to switch to root user, and then we'll update our system before we continue our work. All right. So everything is here in this documentation. I'll just be doing copy and paste. Switch. All right. Updates. Clear my screen. We need to install Docker, Terraform, AWS CLI, and kubectl on this EC2 instance that we launched, this Ubuntu instance. All right, so just copy and paste. Let's go back to our terminal. Yes. All right, we've installed Docker. So we run this command, which Docker. So we need to add that Ubuntu user to the Docker group. So we need to run this command. So in your case, you are going to replace this $user with the user Ubuntu. So let's just go ahead and do that. We'll say user mode, say Docker. Then the username is Ubuntu. So after running this command, to add the user Ubuntu to the Docker group, we need to run this command, switch to Docker group in current session. So we'll just copy and paste. We are done with the installation and everything that has to do with Docker. So next thing, we are going to Terraform setup. So we copy this command to install wget. That's the first thing we need to do here. And then the next thing, we need to download the GPT key. It's done. And then we need to add the repository. So let's update our system again. Now we're ready to install Terraform. And run with Terraform to know the path where Terraform is installed. That's the path. And you want to know the version of Terraform that you have installed, just do Terraform dash version. So we are running the latest version. Alright, so Terraform is also installed. So now we are going to AWS CLI. So if you are not familiar with AWS CLI or you don't know AWS CLI, just take your time to go through this documentation here. So to install AWS CLI, I'll just go straight to the setup. So everything we are doing here, we are doing it on that Ubuntu EC2 instance that we installed earlier. So this right here is to install the unzip package. Now we want to unzip the file. So this command is also showing us the part where AWS is installed right there. And then to also check, you can also verify, AWS that's version, right? You can see the version that installed. All right, so we are done with that as well. So the last installation that we're doing right here, you can see we have done Docker, we have installed Terraform, we have installed AWS CLI. So we need to install kubectl. So I've put all the documentation, everything you need to do, all the research you need to do. I've put everything here to make it easy. Right there now, we'll download the latest stable version of kubectl. All right, here the screen. All right, so here we install the kubectl to this path. All right, and we're also setting a permission as well for it. Okay, we're done with that. Let's also verify. All right, you can see that we successfully installed kubectl. And then here, so also know the path. That is the path right there. All right, we are done with the installation. So back to AWS now. So we need to go into AWS and set up IAM role that we are going to be using for this EC2 instance that we have created. So let me duplicate my screen and go to IAM. So what we want to do now, we want to create an IAM role and then give the permission administrator access to that role. And then once we are done with that, we're going to go and attach that role to the EC2 instance that we created. For roles, create a role, EC2, next, and then access, next, and then we give our role a name. All right, that's all you need to do. All right, so you are done with that stage. Next thing to do, go back to your EC2 instance, click on actions, go to security, and then click on modify IAM role. In this drop down, Super Mario should have the IAM role when you choose right here. All right, update. So now that we have created our IAM role, the next thing, which is the step 5, building the infrastructure using Terraform. So we need to go into back to our terminal and then create a directory. Right here, you can see we also call the directory Super Mario, but you can use any name. It's not a must. You use the same name that I'm used here. You can use any name for the directory. And to the so Super. And then once you have done that, you cd into that directory and then you clone this repository. So that's the next step for you to do. So you got pwd, we're in that directory that I created for Mario. So let's clone our repository. We do git clone and what do ls now. We have that project. So let's cd into our project. Right. So in our project now, we're already inside of my own step 4, change to Super Mario directory. I'm already in that directory right here. So the next thing is to change directory to the kubectl Terraform directory. All right, I'm in that directory now. So you should have the provider, you should have the main.tl, and then the backend. So let's cut this backend. So in your own case, you need to create an S3 bucket. So the purpose of this S3 bucket, this is where the state file will be stored. So I already added the documentation right here. So you need to edit the backend.tf to make sure that you provide the bucket and the region where you have your bucket. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And then also make sure that IAM role is also associated with that EC2 instance, which helps the EC2 to use other resources such as S3 bucket. So in my own case, I have a bucket that I'm using. I called it CST backend S3. So you need to create your own bucket that you are going to use and then update right there region. You need to add the region where you have created your bucket. So the next stage of our project is to run the following Terraform command. So if you are not familiar with Terraform, so Terraform is a popular infrastructure as a code tool that allows you to define and provision infrastructure using a high-level configuration language. So the first one that you need to do is this one right here, Terraform init, and I've tried to put some explanation here as well. So Terraform init, this command initializes a Terraform working directory by creating initial files and then downloading any required provider plugin. So you run this command once before using any other Terraform command to set up your Terraform environment. So let us go ahead and run Terraform init. Terraform init is completed. It says Terraform has been successfully initialized. So the next thing that we're going to do is validate. And what is the purpose of validate? The purpose of validate, when we run the command validate, so it validates the syntax and configuration of your Terraform file to ensure that they are correct and usable. So we use this command to catch syntax error and invalid configuration before deploying our changes. So let's go ahead and run that command. Clear my screen. Terraform validate. All right. So success, the configuration is valid. Another important Terraform command that I like to use, but I didn't put it right here, but I'll talk about it, is Terraform format, Terraform FMT. So the Terraform format command, what it does is that this command, it helps you to format your Terraform configuration file, like your layout. It helps you to format it. So you can use this command to ensure that your Terraform code is clean, consistent, and then easy to read. So it's not part of what I put here, but let's just run it to see how it works. So Terraform format. So you're not going to spell everything, you just do FMT, Terraform format. So if it does not find anything to format, you just bypass it, you leave it, you go. And then the next one right here is the Terraform plan. So what does this Terraform plan, what does it do? So Terraform plan, this command create an execution plan showing what actions Terraform would take to achieve the desired state described in the configuration file. So you use this command to review the changes Terraform will make to your infrastructure before applying them. So I'll just call this command back and we'll say plan. We have our Terraform plan. Let me move the screen view. All right. So we have our plan right here. So it says plan 8 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. I'm still going to be doing another video on Terraform for you to learn and understand Terraform. So the next command is to run Terraform apply, or you can also run Terraform apply -- auto -- approve. So what is the difference between these two commands? So when you run Terraform apply, this command apply the changes. Let me go back to my terminal right here quickly. So what the Terraform apply does is that this command apply the changes required to reach the desired state of your configuration file. So all the changes that you see here that the plan has showed you, apply will push it for you. So you use the apply command to make the actual change to your infrastructure. So now, when you now do -- auto -- approve, so this flag can be used with Terraform apply to automatically approve the plan without prompting for user confirmation. So if you know that, okay, everything you have done is okay, you don't need any user confirmation, then you can add the flag -- auto -- approve. That is what it does. So you use this flag for automation purpose, right? Such as in CI/CD pipelines where manual approval is not feasible. So that is what I'm going to use. I'll say Terraform apply -- auto -- approve. All right, and this may take a while. So all right, apply complete. 8 resources added, 0 change, 0 destroyed. So we have Terraform apply completed. So the next thing that we need to do now, we run this command right here. So this command is used to update the configuration of EKS. So let's do that. Paste. So the next thing that we need to do, just do a CD so we can get into the location where the file, this development.yaml file is. So let's go back. Let me clear my screen, do CD. We do ls, you can see that file right there. All right. So here we want to create the deployment. We can paste. All right, deployment created. And the next thing, we want to create the service. All right, service also created. So the next thing, we run this command kubectl get all. So this command kubectl get all is a Kubernetes command that retrieves and displays a list of all the resources in the current namespace. So it shows various type of Kubernetes objects such as pods, services, deployments, and so on. So that is what we use this command to do. So the next thing that we have to do now, we need to run this describe service to get the load balancer increase. So right here is our load balancer ingress right here. So we copy this and we paste this on our browser. And there you go. We have a Super Mario game. So it's time for us to start playing our Super Mario game. All right. All right. Time to the next level of the game. All right, so you can continue to play your Super Mario game, enjoy your game. So I will advise you not to leave your EC2 instance running. So once you are done with the project, then we can go ahead to destroy all our infrastructure that we have created. So the first one that we need to do is to run this command right here to delete the service. Right. And then after deleting the service, so we can go ahead and delete the deployment now. And then after deleting the deployments, change back to this directory where we have the Terraform. And then next thing we need to do, we need to destroy Terraform. Destroy to all right. So the destroying of our Terraform process has started. So this will take a while as well. So this process of destroying Terraform might take a while, maybe from like 5 to 15 minutes. It depends. So I already put it here as well. So just wait, let it finish destroying. Don't go into your AWS account to to delete anything manually. Let Terraform complete the work for you. All right, as you can see, Terraform destroy is complete. So after Terraform destroy is completed, do a cleanup. Make sure you go to the EC2 instance, and then you want to delete that EC2 one by terminating it. You don't need it anymore. But if you still want to continue using it, you can go ahead and just stop it. Next time you run it, you run all your commands, you have your game, you have your Super Mario. The purpose of this project has been achieved, so I'll just go ahead and terminate the EC2 instance. All right, our EC2 instance is terminated, so we are good to go. So, and that is it. So we have successfully deployed a Super Mario game on Kubernetes cluster using Terraform, AWS EC2, IAM Roles, AWS CLI, AWS EKS, and GitHub. Through this project, you have seen the power of automation deployment and managing infrastructure as a whole. So let's quickly recap what we covered. So we started by setting up our EC2 instance to serve as our Terraform and Kubernetes control node, and then we configured IAM to manage permissions. After that, we got into the installation process to install the necessary tools. So we installed Terraform, we installed Docker, we installed kubectl, and then we installed AWS CLI on our EC2 instance. And then after that, we went into the Terraform configuration that we have created. We deployed our EKS cluster and then set up our deployment. And then after the installation, we went into our GitHub repository, we pulled our repository, we went into the file that has the Terraform configuration to deploy our EKS cluster, and then the kubectl, we did all those installation to deploy the Super Mario, and then we applied the configuration. We used Terraform apply to apply our configurations, and then we deployed the infrastructure. We also verified that our game was running successfully on Kubernetes cluster, and then we also played the game a little bit. We enjoyed the game, but if you want to continue playing, you can continue playing, but just make sure you don't leave that EC2 running and then you don't get charged. So this project showcased a robust and scalable way to manage your infrastructure and deployment. So by using Terraform and Kubernetes, you can easily replicate this setup for any application, ensuring consistency and reliability across your environment. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends who might be interested in cloud automation and DevOps practice. Don't forget to subscribe to Cloud Solutions Tech YouTube channel for more tutorials and in-depth guides like this one. And if you have any question or any further clarification on any setup, leave a comment below. I'll be happy to help. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.